What's up, everyone? What did we watch? It was Bayern Munich 3, Heidenheim 3. That's 3 games in a row, scoring at least 3 goals, but also giving up at least 3 goals. And honestly, this wasn't a normal draw. It was chaos. Chaos. It was frustrating. And at times embarrassing. Like, what's going on with this Bayern team? We put in the second stringers and craziness ensues. But you know what? You had somehow Bayern Munich still managed to escape with a point in the 100th minute. After there was not even supposed to be 100 minutes. It was supposed to be like 95 minutes, 5 extra minutes. But there was injury and this and that. So, okay. Anyways, everyone, you know me, Dakota Clayball, your friendly neighborhood hold on. Let me get this again. Your friendly neighborhood realtor. Sorry, wrong script. I know that seemed a little weird, but anyways, man, this was not a good tune-up game. Not a good tune-up game. This was not a result that should make you or me or any Bayern fan comfortable. Because Bayern Munich, they have now, like I said, conceded at least 3 goals in 3 straight games and totaling 11 because they did give up 5 against PSG. And somehow they're still in it. Anyways, this is a bit concerning. Now, I say a bit concerning because Bayern Munich has been playing with many starters. I don't think, but maybe 1 or 2 starters played the whole game. We've been seeing a lot of moving around pieces. And that's because we have PSG coming to the Allianz Arena for the second leg of the Champions League semifinal tomorrow. Sorry for making this video so late. I was at the Miami F1 race down in Miami, so been quite busy. Anyways, if the normal starters play like this, then Bayern's out of the Champions League. But I think we will be seeing a different one. I saw Hakimi is out. He did tear muscles in his hamstring when he was trying to go for, who was it? Davies or Lucho? I can't remember. Anyways, coming into this match, you could tell Vincent Kompany just had one or both eyes on Wednesday. Bayern were rotated, key players were managed. Harry Kane started on the bench for the second or third Bundesliga match in a row. However, again, we are already champions, so we had Harry Kane, Luis Diaz, Joshua Kimmich, all on the bench. And Bayern clearly were trying to get through the game while keeping legs fresh for the all-important return leg at the Allianz Arena tomorrow against PSG. But even with rotation for the second Bundesliga match in a row, this was still Bayern Munich fielding a second team against the bottom side team in Heidenheim this time. And Bayern Munich, again, were down 2-0 after just 31 minutes. That simply cannot happen, but Heidenheim scored first through Budu, and I'm sorry if I pronounce your last name wrong, Zvidvadi. Then Aaron Dinchki made it 2-0, and suddenly the Allianz Arena, they were stunned. They were stunned. Because Bayern weren't just unlucky, they looked open, disconnected, and every time Heidenheim went forward, Bayern looked vulnerable. The midfield spacing was loose, defensive line was exposed, transitions were not easy for Bayern, and they were far too easy for the visiting Heidenheim side. Now, granted, they were fighting for their lives like the last two teams. This is the last thing you want to see, especially with a team preparing to face PSG tomorrow. But then right before halftime, Bayern finally got a lifeline. Leon Goretzka stepped up over a free kick. What a hit. Brilliant strike. It was great. 2-1. Whew. Now, I don't know if it was a free kick. I might be getting my things crossed. I'm sorry for that. Again, I was in Miami. I didn't get to really watch the whole game, but I did know that they scored, and the goal completely changed the feeling going into halftime. You always want to have a goal for you count before halftime, unlike against when we played PSG, because that really messed up everything, which, again, should not have happened. But because Bayern had been poor, they had been sloppy, they had been exposed defensively, but Goretzka gave them life. And then in the second half, Bayern came out pushing, more urgency, more pressure, more directness. And in the 57th minute, it all paid off because Goretzka, he scored again. A brace for the guy leaving, destined for maybe Milan, one of the two Milan teams. I don't know. He could be ending up going to Galatasaray, where all the other Bayern players seem to be going. Now, this time from close range after Michael Olise's corner, and it's 2-2. And suddenly, Bayern had dragged themselves all the way back in contention. And credit to Goretzka, because in a match where Bayern needs someone to step up, he certainly did. Kudos, chapeau, whatever you say, hats off to you. 2 goals, equalizer, second half, all to play for, wonderful. And he was one of the few players who actually gave Bayern their response this game required. And at that point, you're thinking, okay, Bayern Munich, they survived the scare. Now they'll take control. Now Harry Kane, Diaz, and Kimmich will all come on, and Bayern can go on and win this game comfortably, or at least win it, you would think. But instead, the script writers decided to say the same problem showed up again. Bayern could not control the match defensively. And in the 76th minute, Heidenheim punished them again. Budu Zvidzvari scored his second of the match, and he's thinking, great. 3-2, Heidenheim back in front. He's happy. And at the Allianz Arena against Bayern Munich, honestly, that moment summed up the biggest issue with Bayern right now. They can attack in numbers and score multiple goals. They have, I think, over 4 goals average a game. Can you believe that? It's wild. We are now 100, and at this point, 115 goals, I think. But they keep conceding goals, 3, 4, 5 goals, and expect to survive. That's a tall glass to drink down. That's a tall order. But not in the Bundesliga, not in the Champions League, and definitely not against PSG. You don't want to be giving up that many goals. Bayern Munich then threw everything forward because Harry Kane, Diaz, and Kimmich all were on. Olise kept driving at defenders, and Bayern kept pushing for one final chance. And then, after a bunch of things that happened in extra time, in the 100th minute, absolute chaos. Last goal, last attempt. Boom. Alphonso Davies plays it across. Olise gets the chance. His effort crashes off the woodwork. Ball ricochets off Deant Ramage, who had been good, Heidenheim's goalkeeper, and it ended up in the net. Originally, it looked an own goal and was called an own goal. But Olise, he was credited to save the blushes of Heidenheim's keeper. But 3-3, Bayern Munich rescued a point and have still only lost once in the Bundesliga, twice in the Champions League, 3 times total. Let's make sure we don't have any more losses this year, because if not, we are winning it all. Now, let's not pretend this felt like a win. It wasn't. It was a 3-3 draw. This was relief, not celebration, because yes, Bayern showed fight. They always do. Yes, Goretzka stepped up, even though he's 1 foot out the door and probably not be seeing many more games for Bayern. And Olise, man, he just keeps delivering. If only we could have gotten Harry Kane a score in the end, man, that would have been icing on the cake. But Bayern Munich should not need a 100th minute equalizer to avoid losing at home to Heidenheim, the last in the league. And that is the truth. And that's why this match feels so alarming, because we did have some starters in the first half. There were also positives. Like I said, Goretzka was excellent. Player of the match, good. Olise, dangerous again, good. Bayern showed mentality to come back from 2 down and then again 3-2 down. But the defensive issues are impossible to ignore. Come on, it's blaring. But if we have our starters, maybe that can be improved. Maybe we don't give up multiple goals and we score 2 more than PSG tomorrow. If we can score 2 more than PSG tomorrow, playing Arsenal, because they won 1-0. But anyways, now, like I said, Bayern turn around and face PSG. The big game. PSG lead 5-4 after the first leg. PSG side with pace and quality to punish every mistake. Bayern cannot defend like they have the last 2 or 3 or 4 games. Because against Heidenheim, Bayern Munich escaped with a draw. Against PSG, they may not. So now the question is simple. Can Bayern Munich clean this up in time? Can Kompany fix his first team and their defensive structure before tomorrow, Wednesday? Can this team turn chaos into a Champions League comeback? Because that attack is good enough. Better than good enough. The belief is still there. Tomorrow, the Allianz Arena is red. But if Bayern defend like their second team, again, the Champions League final could be on the line, and we may not even be there. Bayern Munich 3, Heidenheim 3, dramatic escape, Goretzka, man of the match performance from his brace, and 100th minute Olise, equalizer. And one big game tomorrow. Anyways, Mia. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Reach out to your family. You never know when it may be your last time to talk to them. Tell them you love them. And as always, your needs are the point. Tschüss.